the original was Baby You Like a Song, and he's like, I think there's something missing. He's like, what if it's Baby You a Song? And we first heard, we're like, I don't know. And we're like, Joey, do it again. Do it how you hear it. You're right. It's Baby You a Song, you know?
Right. What is up, guys? Chris Rudiger here. Welcome back to the 615 House Podcast. We are so lucky to have today's guest. He was first known as the Florida half of Grammy-nominated group Florida Georgia Line, the ACM Breakout Artist of the Decade Award recipients. I think they had 19 career number ones, and they became the first and only act to achieve not one, but two RIAA Diamond singles in country music history for Cruise and Meant to Be. Surpassing 17 million global streams, seeing more than 40 million tracks and 4.8 million albums worldwide, plus playing to over 4 million fans. FGL got nominated by AMA, Billboard, CMA, CMT, and all of these awards have led him now to a new chapter of his life. This guest is working on a full-length album with Big Machine Records. He recently put out a single, See You Next Summer, which we're going to talk about, and it's having great success climbing up the charts. And additionally, this guest diversifies outside of his artistry. He's collaborating with Britteny, his wife, on Tribe Kelley, as well as partnering with Oyster Brewing Company. And I think he's got a new project down in 30A that we're going to talk about. I am so pumped. Please welcome to the conversation the one and only Mr. Brian Kelley.
Man, thanks for having me.
I am so pumped for this, dude. I think last time I saw you, we were down on Broadway as your wife was doing a work with Ariat for a kind of
throwing a party.
Pretty much. I said, man, the Kelleys know how to party. I'm gonna show up and say what's up, man.
Sometimes we're part of planning it, and sometimes we just show up and party. So that was one of those. Yeah, it's like, hey, I got this thing. I'm kind of throwing a party and hosting at Ariat, and a lot of great people showed up. Man, they had some good drinks they were making, and it was cool to meet some new people like you and see some old friends and catch up. It's great.
Man, it's awesome. How's the summer been? You seem like you've been crazy busy. What have you been up to?
Been writing a ton here in Nashville. Been doing some radio trips, meeting with PDs and spending time with them, doing some dinners and just doing some hanging, kind of reintroducing myself and playing them, some demos and some songs that I got coming down the chute, getting them excited about, what the next 12 to 24 months look like sonically, musically for me.
Right.
It's been really exciting, man. Done some guitar pulls, some acoustic shows, done a couple full band shows, but kind of from here on out for the rest of the year, we started to get really busy, a bunch of guitar pulls, more radio visits. And, man, I'm so grateful to be busy. There's a couple years there, obviously pandemic, there's not too much going on. So man, I'm just been chomping at the bit to be this busy, and it's exciting. I can feel there's been a momentum shift in my solo career, and I think it started obviously with recording See You Next Summer, but even more recently, I think CMA Fest was extra special. I just met and re-met so many people that I met along the way, and then meeting new fans, and just felt like that week was something I'll look back on in a couple years, maybe it's 10 or maybe it's next year, and say, man, that was instrumental in just filling me up in a sense of just so much good energy from these fans, like kind of a trip down memory lane, because they'll show you some pictures of 2012 or 13. They're like, right. Look, we've been fans this long, and do you remember meeting me here at CMA Week then? And you're like, I actually do. That's incredible. Thanks for the continued support. But I just felt like, sometimes because you got a lot going on those weeks, and so you're putting out energy, you're putting it out there, and so to have your tank filled back up by the fans it's awesome, man. So I just left that week. I felt different to me. I don't know why, man. It was special. It was
amazing. I think it was a combination, like you said, like COVID's over and people are now ready to go back to festivals and live experiences. Of course, CMA Fest, a massive event in Nashville. It's kind of the one time where I feel like as artists, we're all in one centralized place playing shows. You know, it's crazy because your friends are always out on the road playing in, you know, Montana, and you're down in Florida and whatnot. Right. And so I feel like most artists say they don't sleep a lot during CMA Fest, but it's so fulfilling to get to see them and of course interact with fans that maybe are new fans of Brian Kelley, or perhaps, you know, like you said, following you for 10 years. So it's amazing. I want to talk, you know, about your new music, but first I wanted to ask you, I don't know this, but how did you initially get into music in the first place? What was your story growing up?
Well, had some friends in high school play acoustic guitar, and always loved music, loved country music, and I just wanted to play guitar. That kind of started it. And once I learned a couple chords and started playing, had some buddies teach me, took a couple lessons, and you know, it was freshman year. This is a pivotal moment. Freshman year, pitching for Florida State. I found out I was redshirting like a week before the season started. So it was kind of a surprise. Some kids, right when we got to school freshman year, they knew they were redshirting right away. So I went through like the whole fall and almost the spring, and then I found out. And so for me, you know, I really dove into playing even more guitar and trying to write songs when, you know, the team was out of town. I wouldn't travel. And so I kind of had more free time than a lot of my teammates. And I didn't really spend it studying. I spent it studying country music and songs and chords, and had this little program on my old Dell laptop that my roommate had given me, like a little recording program. I don't even remember what it was called, but just kind of getting my feet wet and just trying to get into music, you know. And I remember driving in my car to and from class, and it's kind of funny. I had like a breakthrough, maybe like wrote my first song or couple songs. I was like, I'm a songwriter now, you know, like I'm a songwriter.
Right. And then it was a couple in your pocket.
You know, exactly. Like, I'm a songwriter. And then like, I was like, well, if I'm a songwriter, then I'm a singer now too, you know? And so I'd be just try to sing along to anything that came on the radio that was like somewhat in my range or a song I liked.
What were you listening to? Was it mostly country or?
A lot of country at that time too, listening to a lot of Christian music, honestly. And so it's funny because country is my first love. But as I started creating music, the way it came out, because of what I was going through, which was a tough time with baseball, being like, dang, man, like I thought I was going to play freshman year, you know, maybe I was slightly embarrassed that I got redshirted and to my hometown, you know, I'm like, I'm supposed to be pitching for the Seminoles this year, freshman coming in hot, whatever.
Yeah.
And so, you know, life threw me a little bit of a curveball, if you will. And so I just dealt with it, taking it out in the music. And so like, it was kind of a faith-based, you know, contemporary Christian, kind of like, those were my first songs. I actually released like a EP back in the day, a nice railroad track holding a guitar kind of thing. I think we all probably got that.
Oh, of course. That's amazing. Do you remember what it was called?
Letting Go.
Letting Go. What are the chances Letting Go gets re-released, you know?
Oh, God.
Talk to your label about that.
I'm going to need to re-sing and recut everything if that's the case.
I think we all have that first EP lying around somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're going through this process of, you know, practicing baseball a couple days a week and then learning guitar, writing songs. Eventually, did it get to a point where you started to take it more seriously and spend more time on music than baseball? How did that transition happen?
Ooh, not more than baseball. So I transferred to Daytona State College after my second year of Florida State. Didn't get much playing time then. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go home, play a year at a community college. I know the coach. Basically, it's just about, in a sense, like a military college. It's not, but it's treated like that. I'm talking like crazy workouts, you know, morning swims at 5 a.m. You're treading water with cinder blocks over your head, and just like you have a hell week in, you know, January before the season. And then it ended up at Belmont. And so I wouldn't say, I was always curious about what I could do if I had, you know, when I was at practice and I'd get my pitching work done and we'd be out in the outfield shagging balls for a couple hours after we were done. I go, man, I wonder, you know, if I spent this time writing songs that I'm shagging baseballs, like how much better could I be? Right. But it wasn't until, you know, after my senior year at Belmont, I didn't get drafted. And so I took that from, you know, as a sign from the universe, like it's time to do something else. And I was looking forward to it. I would have loved to, you know, even if it was the last pick of the draft, like the last pick, like a can of snooze and a bus ticket, I'd have done it. Just to like give it a year or till I got cut, or just to say I like played pro ball. But that didn't happen, and I didn't want to force it. I might have could have gone and, you know, played independent ball. But again, the curiosity of music, for me, I was like, man, I really want to do this. I want to see what like a life just invested in music would be like. And, you know, not long after that, really, Tyler and I really kind of got connected and started writing songs and never looked back. And so,
well, I was going to say, I know
kind of an easy, it was a transition that was made for me in a sense, like not getting drafted, but I was excited and just kind of took it in stride and was like, you know what, this is, that was one part of my life, and I'm going to move on. We're going to make some music.
Well, I know in the moment you probably wanted to play college or pro ball, but it seems like it ended up being a pretty good decision because you end up meeting Tyler Hubbard, and 2012 rolls around. And I remember I was in high school, and I remember all my buddies are like, you guys have got to crank this new group called FGL. And
That's
of course,
awesome.
Cruise goes and it becomes, I mean, the biggest, you know, record selling single of all time. Like, talk to me about this process, man. Like, how did that feel?
It was unbelievable, man. I mean, still to this day, just beyond grateful, just really, really grateful. You know, we just, try to write and work on music any chance that we got, and you know, until around different schedules. I mean, until you get like a publishing deal that can you can live off of.
Right.
But man, we were just attacking it hard, and we were living together over in Green Hills, this old house, and had a bunch of, you know, a couple people in our band and a couple buddies, and we were just trying to be around and go to songwriter rounds, meet people, write. Hey, you want to write? You want to write tomorrow night? You want to write in the morning? We could do both. We could do it all. Whatever. Just kind of song hustling, man, and just trying to get ingrained in this city. And
I think that's a big thing of Nashville that some people don't understand is when you first move.
Yep.
You know, oftentimes it's kind of the best of the best from different towns, you know, across the country, across the world. And you get here and you're shaking hands. You're going out 4 or 5 nights a week and looking to play, you know, any gig, whether it's a writer's round on, you know, Demonbreun or Midtown, or going to the listening room. And I think that's a big part of it, is like trying to find your group. Did you and Tyler start writing with other people? Did you just kind of write you two? Like, how did your first couple songs come about?
The first couple, right after college, right after I graduated, a little bit of both. I mean, it was like a lot of, probably a decent amount of like two ways. And it was like, all right, well, we can definitely write two like good songs, just the two of us. Like, that's awesome. Cool. Noted. Like, we got a thing. Cool. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. And then, you know, then we kind of, we'd write with, you know, add one person in the mix or add two, do a 4-way, just dependent. Really, we didn't turn too much down back then because we didn't have like a ton going on. So it's like, you want to write with us? Cool. We'll try you. We'll try you. We'll try you. Yeah, we'll try whoever.
Right.
But man, when Cruise hit, it was just, it was crazy, man. I mean, like, we felt like it was going to be big, but we had no idea it was going to be that big. I mean, we were excited because there's nothing that sounded like that. The day we wrote it, it kind of went through a transformation over a period of, it was probably a period of months from when we wrote it to when we recorded it. And once we started recording it, we really kind of took a microscope to it, and that was led by Joey Moy. And he's like, hey, we could probably tighten up some things. And
Joe's incredible.
He's incredible, man. He's got one of the best ears, I think, in this town and maybe in music. And so that was actually Joey's call the original was Baby You Like a Song. And he's like, I think there's something missing. He's like, what if it's Baby You a Song? And he kept singing it like that. He'd have it on loop, just the track going. And we first heard, we're like, I don't know. And we're like, Joey, do it again. Do it how you hear it. And he did it. And we're like, okay, you're right. It's Baby You a Song, you know?
Right.
And so just little things like that and tightening up the verses. And I think we added the, we actually once we released the Nelly version, we never did that breakdown. Well, maybe we did. No, it's the bridge. When that summer sun fell to its knees. That's the one that gets cut out because we did the remix, but we added that. No, shoot. I'm trying to remember. No, we added it was the pulled out, guitar, strummed a couple chords straight from the heart.
Yeah.
That one, that's what we added in the studio.
Added that in the studio in real time. Man.
But it was cool, man. It was just like we just sat around, and it was like there was no hurry. It wasn't any time frame or timeline to like, we have to get this done. We just kind of sat around for hours and just chased rhymes and just tried to tighten every little thing of that song, every little corner of that song.
Yeah.
And that's what you hear today still. You know, it's crazy, man. I'm so grateful for Joey and his leadership and just pushing us. Because, I mean, even when you think you got a great song, you can always double check things and edit and just match little lines and rhymes up and little just intricacies of the song that just make it pop even more.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, an unbelievable record that has clearly spanned the test of time and continues to be played and sung, you know, by millions across the country. Walk me through when you go out and you start touring after this song, and of course you guys have plenty of other hits in this mix. What's that feeling of playing these stadiums and hearing people sing the lyrics of your song back?
It's wild, man. I mean, it's I don't know if anything really beats that, you know. I mean, in that big of a venue. But even, I mean, you know, to be honest with you, as that song grew, and we were, you know, in smaller clubs and the venue started getting a little bit bigger, still like awesome, because you felt like in a club, you're like, man, we're about to literally blow this roof off. These fans are about to sing this roof right off, you know? So that was cool, but bigger venues are special as well. And you just try to slow it down because it just goes so quick, those sets, even if they're an hour and a half long or 3.5 minute song. So you really just try to take in everybody if you can, you know, and it's like just a sea of people just moving and partying, and
Right.
It's awesome, man. I mean,
is there any specific moment or show that, you remember today as sort of the, your favorite moment?
There's one, I've got it on my old computer somewhere, some footage, but it was the, I want to say 12 or 13. It might've been 13, Faster Horses Festival.
Oh yeah. Amazing festival.
Nuts.
People
bro.
show out for that.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, I mean, we were only probably a couple singles deep at that time when we played that, but, it was like, well, if all goes to hell after this festival, I'm like, well, we definitely made it at least to that festival. You know, like
Right.
We're good. Like that was a epic show. I mean, people just on top of shoulders waving flags. There's like smoke coming from the whole crowd. I mean, it was just a absolute rager. And you know, it's cool, man, because as musicians, songwriters, artists, like we are fans as well. So we have been there. I'm sure you have, and like we've been out to festivals and crowds before we are doing what we've done. And so to know how I get when a song comes on that I love, and I don't know, man, just to have it turned around where you're the guys on stage throwing the party, singing the songs, and people are reacting. It's just, it's humbling. It's special. It's inspiring. I mean, like, yeah, you get that feedback from those shows. It's like, all right, well, what kind of song can we write today?
Right.
Better than what we have, you know, like, so I
feel like that's always kind of this game that you play as an artist, right? Is you write a song and then you try to outperform and keep outperforming, and then there's the evolution of your artistry. I mean, you guys put out an album, and then years later you continue to find what's the new thing, or what's this new hook that's going to kind of outbeat something like an anything off of Anything Goes. But it's amazing, man, what you guys have done. Just pioneering, kind of redefining and expanding country music. I think everyone kind of remembers that 2012 moment and all of FGL as being, such an impactful and a long lasting band to the genre. I want to talk about your solo career.
Yeah.
You put out an album in 2021, I believe. Yeah. Which was, I think, your first kind of project as a solo act. Yeah. Walk me through that.
Other than Letting Go.
other than Letting Go. Yeah, dude, I can't wait to. I can't wait to. I'm going to dig through that and try to find these old Brian Kelley records.
That's funny.
But yes, you put out this album in 2021, and I'm sure the experience of doing something as a solo artist rather than as a duo is different. I mean, walk me through that. Were you nervous to put something out by yourself? Were you excited?
No, I'm really excited, and it's like. It's funny because I kind of did the same thing, when life kind of threw everybody a curveball during the pandemic, and our normal was shut down and canceled and not really do anything. And so, Tyler and I had turned in our 5th record, May of 2020. And, I just, after that, it was like, I started writing a little bit, took a little time off, and we were down in Florida, posted up, me and Brittany and the dogs, and having a great time, and still kind of getting a little stir crazy because I had got my arm in shape some. We'd been cooking. I've tried everything to keep us busy and be happy, but I'm like, man, I'd love to just, write a bunch and see what happens. And right when I said that, I didn't know, I guess the creative songwriting gods were going to give me a bunch of inspiration, but I wrote probably 3 or 4 songs. And I had a little pile, and it's like, man, I'm just so inspired right now. I'd love to just have an extra outlet. It's something that we had been talking about for years. And so it just felt like for me, maybe not for us, but maybe for me, the right timing, and not much was going on. At the end of the day, me spending my time in a weird time where everything's shut down on music gave me life, and it gave me confidence. It gave me something to do. And it's like I got to do more. The reason why I moved to Nashville in the first place, to write songs, make music. And
silver lining of it all, man.
Dude, it's crazy. So I once again in life, life throws a curveball, dive into the music. And so I really don't consider that, my debut solo record. It's definitely the first one, but it's, definitely a passion project, something I'd wanted to do for a long time. And at the time, even making it, and even after it being out for even a year or so, however, we still had, FGL dates on the books. And, I kind of was under the impression we were going to continue everything. And my holistic view was, I want to do this and that, not this or that. It was like, let's just add to the mothership. And obviously things have changed, and we kind of pivoted from that. But my mindset was, because we had things on the books and dates and, all that, I was like, man, I kind of had created this unique little coastal country sound, and it's a snapshot of my life, a snapshot of time. It's a love letter to Florida, Brittany, our travels, and just life. And sonically wasn't really at all trying to intrude on what we had built, trying to keep that super separate and just like have my own little thing. At the end of the day, I didn't really care what happened to it, in terms of, we didn't go to radio on any of those songs off the first record. It really was just about expressing myself, man, and just like being true to the artist that I am and the songwriter that I am, and honoring myself. And so, kind of where I'm at now, I'm working on this new music, with so much having changed in a little over 2 years. It's like, man, I'm not really holding anything back when it comes to, my solo music and how it sounds sonically. And just like, I'm sure you as a musician can tell, like See Next Summer sounds a lot bigger, and the production and the track sounds a lot bigger than stuff on, Sunshine State of Mind. And that's intentional. So man, I've just been grinding, just really, really just open my world up to any and every and new and old songwriters. Like I told my whole team, like, I don't care if they've got hits, if you think I need to write with them and put these groups together. Like I'm such in an open-minded place. Yeah, man, it's just like once you stand alone on by yourself on a solo career, it's like, all right, well, if this is for real and it's serious now, I'm gonna operate my business and the way I do things a lot different. And that means, I'm gonna cut some outside songs. Sure. I'm gonna, I love supporting the songwriting community, number one. Number two, there's so many great songs out there that I didn't write or I won't write, that it's like, man, if they resonate with me, I got no problem recording an outside song. Some of my idols and legends have done that. And it's like, well, that's kind of how I want to model my true solo career. It's like, the Garth and Kenny, great songwriters, have written tons of hits themselves, but they also cut some amazing songs, and they're the voice for some of these songs that are just incredible. And so, man, it's so refreshing to hear that, because I think a lot of artists in Nashville feel like they always have to be the one, with the pen writing their song. And I think a lot of the, you look at some of the biggest artists, like you mentioned, they are great songwriters, and there's no questioning that. But also, good music's good music. And if you find something that, other talented writers in Nashville have written that deserves a platform, and you can put your own artistry on it,
why not go for it? And it's nice to hear that somebody is embracing that. And of course, paying respects to the songwriting community and those there. So
it takes a little bit of pressure off, I think, too. Like having to feel like Sunshine State of Mind, that was a goal of mine because it was such a artistic expression. It's like, all right, well, here's something I want to do on these 17 songs. I want to make sure I'm a co-writer on every one of them.
You wrote all 17 songs on
co-writer
on Sunshine State of Mind.
Yeah. And so for this one, it's like, man, I did that, and that was like a fun project. And it, again, so much has changed. It's like, well, it doesn't really matter. Maybe I'll do that down the road. Maybe that'll be another goal of mine, or maybe it's like I write them all by myself. But I'm just not there right now. It's not really about that. It's like, how many great songs can I put on a project, whether I wrote them or not? Sure. And it does take pressure off. I don't know. I mean, like when you hear a song you love, you're like, man, let me hear it like 3 more times. I kind of know it. Let's just cut it. I love that song. And there's like this, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love trying to wake up every single day and try to write another cruise or a big hit. Like I love song hunting, and I'm competitive. I love all that. But something cool about just like hearing a song you love and being able to record it.
Absolutely. Well, I want to talk to you about the music industry today, because a crazy thing happened in quarantine, which was the emergence of TikTok and of Instagram. And there's all these platforms where music is so accessible and we're consuming it in such high volume. I was reading this stat the other day, like 100,000 songs are uploaded to streaming services every day, which is great because it allows us as artists to put something out and be able to consume music so rapidly. But at the same time, it's like, how do you stand out? I mean,
I don't know.
What's your process to standing out when putting out music in such a competitive market?
That's a good question. I think something for me, I mean, I guess kind of what I have going for me. I don't know if this is good or not, but in a sense, starting over as a solo artist, it's like, my voice, my lead voice, where it's at now, was really. I mean, Britteny said this for years. She's like, when you do some stuff, it's gonna be like your voice was preserved, and it's gonna be like you're a new artist. People are like, who's that? And they're like, oh, it's BK. He used to be in FGL or whatever. And they're like, oh, and so I think that's cool. I think fans, even myself, love finding somebody new or hearing something like, well, who's that? What's that? So I think I have that going for me. Hopefully people are like, well, whose voice is that? That's the goal, at least. Right. But I think that, and man, I don't know. I just, as things build, I think for me, I'm really motivated on, I guess you could call it fan experience, fan service, which you'd say like customer service and like retail, but like, man, just being great to your fans and creating moments and experiences at shows, meet and greets, just being super present with them. Mm-hmm. And then I think, live show and just, I don't know, man. I think being good to people obviously helps everything. But when it comes to why they want to listen to your music more than just it being an earworm, right? I think country fans especially, they want to support you, not just the song. They want to support, they want to know about your family. They want to know what you love. They want to, all those things. And so I think it's important to just be involved with your fan base. And I still think I don't think that's easy, because I feel like my Instagram will not grow. It does not grow. It don't show anybody my stuff. So I try hard, and TikTok's okay too. But sure, man, I just try to be, when I'm in person, when I'm at a show and I'm at a meet and greet, a guitar pull, just be super in tune with the moment and the fans, and shaking hands after the show. But I think the music is first, obviously, and so I just think try to have a unique voice, a voice that pokes a little bit, and always trying to fine tune that. But songs, voice, it's all got to be there. But
yeah, it's there's the formula has got to be created. I think it's cool to hear that you create loyalty through your live events and shaking hands, because I think we consume so much stuff on these things all the time. In a lot of artists I've talked to recently have had a viral moment where we've seen their stream spike, and maybe they do get the Instagram followers that you're not getting, for a couple months. But then if they aren't able to build and maintain that fan base and that loyalty, then oftentimes the career might not last as tested time. And I think you mentioned it, but you kind of have this. What are some things that you do to really build loyalty with your fans?
It's a good question. To build loyalty, man. I mean, I think it's just being present, and I just like in-person interactions, man. Like I'm always better that way too. Like we're all so busy, and it's like you can miss a couple text messages or a couple posts or whatever like that. But like if I'm here with you right now, I'm here. Right. Like I'm right here and you are here, and so I just like that. I appreciate that. Building loyalty. I love it. That's a good question.
There's no right answer,
That's a good question. No, I think just being yourself. And I think one thing, I mean, I did these little, a little residency down in 30A at our surf shop.
Amazing.
And that was kind of a start. I'll do some more at some point, but one thing I think was cool, and this is kind of what I'm going for, is kind of try to put my words how I want them, but like, as I grow as a solo artist and I do these shows, like I want kind of the deadhead vibe of people following where I'm going, because I'm not going to probably play the same show in a row.
Right.
Like I like being a little bit random. I like, if we wrote a song that day, maybe trying it that night and maybe screwing up, but people like that, like I did that we were doing a little full band acoustic show, and I was like, guys, I'm gonna try a song that we just wrote and I may screw this up. And I got through the first verse and chorus, crushed it. And I get a second verse. I'm like, I can't remember the freaking words. So I got my phone out. I'm like, y'all, I'm getting my phone out to try to finish this, whatever.
Trying to play it off cool. Like, how
and I murdered it, man. And they were cheering, they were jacked up. They were like, you got this, BK. That's so awesome. And it's like, I don't have any tricks up my sleeve. And so I think there's people see that, and your vulnerability. I think that is building trust and loyalty to fans. They're like, man, I get that guy. Like, we're all human, Right.
I think that's cool, man.
And so, yeah, man.
Well, you mentioned it, but I did want to talk about it too. One of the things you do outside of your artistry, it seems like you're pretty involved with several different ventures. I know that you're very supportive of your wife, Britteny, and the Kelley tribe work, which is how we kind of first met. But I also know you mentioned 30A. You're very involved down there. Talk to me a little bit about what you have going on down there.
Yeah, so we're celebrating 5 years anniversary at Tribe Kelley Surf Post. If you've ever been down to Grayton Beach in the 30A area, right across the Red Bar, the world famous Red Bar, is our surf post. It's an old house we renovated, turned it into a surf shop, and most recently last fall turned the backyard space that we had into like a little music venue. Love that place. My studio's on the second floor, written a bunch of songs up there, recorded most of the first album there.
Yeah.
And then, a couple miles down the road, if anybody's familiar with the area, Shunk Gully, the restaurant, we're a couple spots down from there. Papa Surf Burger Bar will be opening here in a couple weeks.
Papa Surf
Burger Bar. Yeah, man. And so
that's amazing.
Some coastal, southern coastal burgers.
So what makes a southern coastal burger different than a regular burger?
Well, we've got like one burger that's like it's like a pimento cheese bacon situation.
You're getting fancy with it,
dude. It's like awesome.
Yeah,
it's kind of foodie. Yeah. Elevated burger, elevated experience. Papa Surf.
Understood. Hey, that's look at that for advertisement right there. Unbelievable.
I just off the cuff, and I might have stole some of that from Papa John's, but it's okay.
Yeah. Right. That's hilarious, man. Well, dude, I love that you're opening it. When's the opening of it?
It's a couple weeks. We're kind of teetering on an exact date. You know how like finishing a project is, man. It's like something that didn't come in that slows us down for a couple days, and then we're waiting on one thing. But we can see light at the end of the tunnel, man. It's another old house we renovated. It's an old, it was called Bloom's Cafe back in the day. It had been shut down for years when we purchased it, but the former chef owner of that cafe just actually lived in that house. And so I guess we have a thing for old houses and renovations and finding a new business, a new opportunity for the community in those buildings. And man, it's a blast. Like Brittany and I love real estate, architecture, design, and just creating experiences for people to, in cool, unique spaces for people to feel comfortable, like they can just party and, it's going to be awesome, man. We've done a bunch of tastings. The burgers are fire.
What better place to do it, man? 30
you gotta come hang.
Well, you tell me when the opening date is. I will make the drive down, man. I love 30A, and you got to throw a big festival down there for the opening. Get some music down there.
Yeah, we're gonna do. I don't know if it won't be like right away. We're gonna do like a big grand opening. It may be in a couple months, like after we open, like kind of soft open, get all the kinks out. But
there you go.
So we actually partnered with. So Brittany and I kind of conceptualized it, kind of got the whole design team on board and had the name. I had that name for a while, Papa Surf. And Brittany and I, we kind of did it backwards. I told her for years, like, Papa Surf is going to be something. I go, I don't know if it's going to be a beer or if it's going to be a clothing line. Yeah. But I said, it could be all those things. I said, it's just got to be something like cool. And we want this awesome logo. And so I had this guy, JPEG Fletcher out of Charleston. We started with the logo and the name and the design, and we didn't know it was going to be the burger bar till once we started getting creative on the logo. I go, okay, cool. And then we found the location, and I go, Britt, I think Papa Surf is a burger bar. And she's like, I'm all in, let's go. And so we kind of did it backwards off the logo, had the name, got the logo designed, and then we kind of did it that way.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which was new for us, but it was fun, man. I mean, to me, it's like songwriting. It's like starting with a good title or a good hook.
Right.
And then kind of just writing around that and kind of forming it, molding it,
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing, man. Well, I can't wait to check it out. Papa Surf coming soon down in 30A. Well, we got just a few minutes left, so I want to do something real quick. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, RIAA here. They're a leading Western clothing apparel brand, and we got a couple T-shirts and some hats right here that are for you. You can take down.
Let's go.
RIAA does this thing. We got rapid fire questions. We're throwing 60 seconds on the clock. This is presented by RIAA. Are you ready to go, Brian?
I'm so
Kelley?
ready. I'm so ready.
Here we go, baby. 3, 2, 1. What is the favorite venue that you have played?
Guilford, New Hampshire Amphitheater.
There you go. That's near my hometown.
Whatever that's called, that place.
Yeah, the pavilion. It's great.
It's ridiculous, dude.
Are you more of a talker or a texter?
I guess both. Because sometimes you need to talk it out, and you're like, hey, can you fix this thing on a whatever? Right. But I don't mind a good text.
There you go. Favorite Florida Georgia Line song?
Cruise.
One artist that you could collaborate with?
George Strait.
Not a bad answer right there. Are you more of a cowboy hat or baseball hat guy?
Both.
Both. I always thought you were going to say baseball hat.
I can't have one without the other.
There you go. I like that. How many days a week are you wearing boots?
If I'm in Florida, it's not much.
Sure. It's location based.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. Seasonal location. You gotta move around, So, but if I'm in town, Nashville, if I'm writing songs every day, for the most part, and then if I'm on the road, unless it's like just a freaking heat wave, I might throw some flippies on.
Right. There you go. Favorite fast food place?
Right now, Raising Cane's, dude.
Dude, they just opened in Nashville. It's freaking awesome.
Let me get a cup of sauce with a straw.
Oh my God. Shout out Todd Graves, dude.
I might get that tonight.
There you go. And last one, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Man, I'd probably say Pickup Man, Joe Diffie.
Heck yeah.
Just kind of the one.
I hear you, man. Rest in peace, Joe Diffie. He's the man.
Legend.
That is RIAA Rapid Fire Questions with Brian Kelley. That was pretty good, man.
It's kind of rapid fire.
Kind of rapid fire. We'll edit out the ones that aren't too rapid fire. Dude, it's been awesome having you on here. I
appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you taking the time, learning more about obviously both the FGL story, but of course all this new music that I'm so pumped about. What can we expect from you? I know you got this album coming out, but any plans to hit the road? What's in store?
Yeah, man. So kind of from here on out for the rest of the year, got a ton of guitar pulls, so a bunch of radio station shows, and working on kind of filling in some dates around there for more shows, and trying to get, I think, top of next year in the winter lined up as well. Some shows, really pushing to get a bunch of shows out there, man. I really can't wait to get music out, get out there on the road, meet fans, hang with fans, and just see what we can make happen, man. See you next summer, obviously summer song.
Yeah.
But kind of the majority of the songs and this project that I've got coming after See You Next Summer, mostly just kind of just banging country songs, you know, like I was able to share 17 songs of kind of a coastal country vibe, and that picture on that first record. See You Next Summer is an elevated version of that, no doubt, at radio doing its thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, there's so much that I want to share about myself and what I love, and you know, it's not just summertime and the beach. So, and I didn't want to make obviously the same record twice, man. We got to push ourselves and continue to share with the world and fans like what we're made of, and all of us artists. So for me, it's like, man, I just really want to squeeze as much out of life as I can, man, and just like push myself. And the more I've made myself, in a sense, you know, uncomfortable, if you will, if that's the word, of just like writing with, you know, as many people that I've never met. You know, you write with, you know, 2 or 3 people in a day, and then another group later that night. It's like that's sometimes not easy, you know, just meeting people and trying to write a freaking hit, or trying to write a great song. But man, I just feel like I'm kind of thriving in the uncomfortability of it all. And I've just really kind of taken off the heavy coat of feeling like I got to try. It's just like, man, if we show up and we filter through ideas and just be patient enough to wait around for the good ideas, we know what to do with a good idea.
Right.
It's just, you got to get to the good idea. You got to get to it. So it's like, how patient can you be? That's like, we write all the time, and I just tell anybody I write with, I'm like, man, I don't mind starting something and moving on to another idea, and I just want everything to be great and push all of ourselves to, you just never know what you can land on. And so still got the hustle, man. I'm just really trying to, I really enjoy this outlet, man. I'm really grateful for everything that Tyler and I have been able to do. It's more than a foundation in a music career. It's incredible. I'm forever grateful for all of our fans. Everything that we've been able to do is amazing, man. And so I don't take that lightly. And I'm also, again, you know, like really enjoying kind of doing this by myself and you know, representing myself and my team the way I want to. And I loved the duo, loved playing on a team. You know, I come from a baseball background, so that's great. But yeah, man, different seasons and chapters of life, and different curveballs require a different bat.
I hear you, man. Well, it's awesome, dude. Well, thanks for just being so down to earth and being willing to come on here and chat, man. See you next summer. Brian Kelley, new record out now, whole album coming out very soon. So y'all stay tuned. This is the 615 House Podcast. Thanks again, brother. I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Love it.